What just changed in Social Security could cost you everything, and most people aren't prepared. Starting March 31st, 2025, the Social Security Administration silently rolled out a major rule change that's already disrupting how millions of Americans access their benefits. If you try to update your info or apply using the same method you've always used, you might be denied or, worse, expose yourself to fraud. This isn't just a security update, it's a wake-up call, and if you don't act now, your payments could be delayed or blocked without warning. What changed on March 31st, 2025, and why it matters. On March 31st, 2025, the Social Security Administration, SSA, made one of the most significant security shifts in decades, and it's already causing confusion and concern across the country. From that day forward, you can no longer verify your identity by phone when applying for benefits or making changes to your payment information. For millions of Americans, this means the way you've handled your Social Security for years is now outdated and possibly dangerous. Why this sudden shift? Fraud. In recent years, phone scams targeting seniors have exploded. In 2023 alone, the Federal Trade Commission received over 191,000 reports of scams involving Social Security, with total losses exceeding $100 million. Fraudsters were exploiting the phone verification process to impersonate beneficiaries, hijack accounts, and reroute payments. The old system, while convenient, had become a massive vulnerability. To combat this growing threat, the SSA is now requiring stronger, multi-layered identity verification. If you want to apply for benefits, change your direct deposit information, or even update your mailing address, you'll need to do it online through your My Social Security account. This isn't optional. It's the only way forward. The SSA states this change aligns with updated federal cybersecurity standards, and while it may feel like a hassle at first, the intention is clear: to protect your benefits from being stolen. But here's the problem. Millions of Americans still haven't created a My Social Security account, and those who aren't comfortable with technology risk being left behind or cut off. This isn't just a policy change, it's a new reality. And if you don't adjust quickly, you could face delays, disruptions, or worse, fall victim to the very scams this new rule was designed to stop. Why the old system was a risk, you didn't even notice. For decades, handling Social Security by phone felt safe, familiar, and easy, especially for older Americans who preferred speaking to a real person. But behind that comfort was a growing threat most people never saw coming. The truth is, the old system opened the door wide for fraudsters, and many took full advantage. Phone-based identity verification relies heavily on trust. A scammer just needed your name, Social Security number, and a bit of personal info, much of which can be found or stolen online, to impersonate you convincingly. Once on the line with a Social Security agent, these criminals could request address changes, redirect benefit payments, or even lock you out of your own account. In fact, according to the Federal Trade Commission, imposter scams related to Social Security were the #1 type of fraud targeting older adults in 2023. These scams often started with a simple phone call. "This is the Social Security Administration. Your number has been compromised." The goal? Scare the victim into giving up sensitive information. It worked. Victims reported losing an average of $1,400 per incident, and in many cases, the damage wasn't just financial, it was emotional and deeply personal. What makes it worse is that these calls often looked official. Caller ID spoofing made it seem like the call was coming from SSA. Some scammers even knew the last digits of your Social Security number or previous addresses, details that made their lies feel real. So while many trusted the phone process, it was increasingly becoming a weapon used against them. That's why the SSA pulled the plug. Eliminating phone verification is more than a security update. It's a necessary shield in a time when identity theft is more sophisticated than ever. How the new verification process works now. If you haven't already created a My Social Security account, that's now your first and most important step. Starting March 31st, 2025, all identity verification for benefit applications, payment updates, and account changes must be done online through this secure portal. The SSA no longer accepts phone-based verification for these actions, and trying to call in will only lead to delays or a denial. Here's how the new process works and what you need to do to stay ahead of it. First, go to ssa.gov/myaccount and select Create an Account. You'll need to provide basic personal information, including your name, social security number, and date of birth. But the real shift comes next: multi-factor authentication, MFA. This is the backbone of the new system. You'll be required to verify your identity using at least 2 layers of protection. That includes photo ID verification. Upload a picture of a government-issued ID, like your driver's license or passport. Selfie match. You'll be prompted to take a selfie, which the system compares with your ID using facial recognition, phone or email confirmation. A one-time security code will be sent to your phone or email, and you must enter it to proceed. In some cases, the SSA may ask for additional identity proof, especially if there are discrepancies in your records. The system uses ID.me, a trusted third-party identity verification service used by other government agencies like the IRS and VA. Once your account is fully verified, you can log in securely and manage nearly every aspect of your benefits. From direct deposit updates to checking payment history, everything is now designed to be digital, traceable, and far more secure. The key takeaway: if you don't set up this account and verify your identity, you may not be able to access your benefits or request changes. This is now the gateway to your financial lifeline in retirement. If you're serious about protecting your Social Security and retirement income, this is not the time to stay in the dark. Subscribe now, because every time the rules change, we'll be here to break it down for you first. One missed update could cost you your next payment. Don't let that happen. Hit subscribe and stay ahead. Who is most affected by this change, and why they're at risk? This new rule isn't just a policy shift. It's a major adjustment that's already creating barriers for some of the most vulnerable Americans. While the move to stronger digital security is a smart response to rising fraud, it also puts millions at risk of losing access simply because they're not digitally prepared. Older adults, especially those over 70, are among the most affected. Many in this age group are not comfortable using computers or smartphones. According to a 2024 Pew Research study, nearly 1 in 3 Americans over 65 do not regularly use the internet. That means a large portion of retirees may not even know this change has happened, let alone how to respond to it. Some don't own a smartphone, others avoid online platforms due to confusion or fear of scams. Ironically, the new digital-only system meant to prevent fraud may feel like a closed door for those it's meant to protect. Then there are low-income beneficiaries, many of whom rely on libraries, community centers, or help from others to manage their accounts. With the shutdown of phone verification, these individuals might find themselves stuck, unable to update their payment method or request support when they need it most. A missed step could mean missed payments. People with disabilities or cognitive impairments also face new hurdles. Verifying identity with photo ID, a selfie, and security questions may not be possible without help. If they don't have a caregiver who understands the process, they risk getting locked out entirely. And there's another group that's often overlooked: rural Americans. With unreliable internet access in many parts of the country, even those who are willing to adapt might struggle to get through the new digital walls in place. What's clear is this: while the SSA is trying to keep fraud out, millions of legitimate beneficiaries are at risk of being left behind. If you or someone you care about fits into any of these groups, now is the time to step in and make sure they're not left without the benefits they depend on. What you need to do right now to avoid payment issues. If you rely on Social Security benefits or plan to soon, there are a few urgent steps you need to take immediately to avoid delays, disruptions, or even missed payments. This is not something to push off until next month. The SSA has already implemented these changes, and the longer you wait, the more likely you are to run into problems accessing your money. Here's exactly what you need to do. Number 1, create a My Social Security account now. Go to ssa.gov/myaccount and begin the registration process. If you already have an account, log in and make sure everything is up to date. If you don't, you'll need to create one and go through the new identity verification steps, including uploading a valid photo ID and completing the selfie match. Number 2, Enable multi-factor authentication, MFA. This is now required. Choose how you want to receive security codes, via phone, email, or app, and make sure your contact info is current. Without MFA enabled, you won't be able to access your account or make changes. Number 3, update your contact information. If the SSA can't reach you with important updates, especially security notifications, you could be locked out or miss a warning about suspicious activity. Make sure your phone number, email, and mailing address are correct. Number 4, review your direct deposit details. Many fraud attempts involve changing where your benefits are sent. Double-check your banking information inside your account to ensure nothing has been tampered with. Number 5, help family members who might struggle. If you have aging parents, a spouse, or neighbors who aren't tech-savvy, now is the time to help them through this process. The SSA allows designated representatives or payees to assist, but accounts must still be set up properly. The SSA isn't going to call and walk you through this. If you miss a step, your benefits could be delayed or paused. Think of your My Social Security account as your digital key to retirement income. Without it, the door stays shut and there's no backup plan anymore. Mistakes to avoid that could delay your benefits. With this new system in place, even small mistakes can lead to major consequences: missed payments, locked accounts, or denied access to your benefits. And the worst part, most people won't realize they've done something wrong until it's too late. Here are the most common mistakes that are already causing problems for retirees and what you need to do to avoid them. Number 1, waiting too long to act. This is the number 1 error. Many beneficiaries assume they'll deal with the new rules later, or that they'll receive something in the mail explaining what to do. But there's no grace period. The rule is already live. If your account isn't set up and verified, you may not be able to access or update your information when you need to. Number 2, using outdated contact information. If your email or phone number on file is old, or worse, incorrect, you won't be able to receive the security codes needed to log in. That alone can lock you out. This is especially common for people who've changed phone providers or moved recently. Number 3, ignoring SSA emails or online notifications. Many people still expect the SSA to communicate exclusively through letters. While paper mail is still used, critical security alerts and account notifications are now being sent digitally. Failing to check your email or online account could cause you to miss important deadlines or warnings. Number 4, relying on others without the right permissions. Family members trying to help often make changes on behalf of loved ones without officially being listed as a representative payee or having the legal authority. This can trigger security flags or account locks. If you're helping someone, make sure it's done through the correct channels. Number 5, falling for new scams disguised as help. With the shift to digital, scammers are already adapting, sending emails that look like SSA messages or creating fake login pages to steal your credentials. Always verify that you're on the official SSA website and never click links from unsolicited emails or texts. The takeaway? The SSA's new rules are designed to protect you, but only if you follow them carefully. In this new system, simple oversights have big consequences. Don't leave your benefits to chance. A bigger shift is coming, and this is just the beginning. What happened on March 31st wasn't just a technical update, it was a signal. The Social Security Administration is moving toward a fully digital future, and this recent change is only the first step in a much larger transformation. The systems we've depended on for decades, phone calls, paper forms, in-person visits, are being phased out. And for millions of Americans, especially those nearing or in retirement, this marks a turning point that can't be ignored. The SSA has made it clear their goal is to digitize all major services within the next few years. That includes applications for retirement, disability, Medicare, spousal benefits, and more. In fact, several regional offices have already started limiting in-person services, requiring appointments and pushing users toward online self-service. This digital-first model mirrors what we've seen from the IRS, the VA, and even Medicare, and it's accelerating. For some, this shift is welcome. It offers speed, convenience, and stronger protection against fraud. But for millions of others, it creates new, hurdles, unfamiliar interfaces, security procedures that feel overwhelming, and a sense of being left behind by a system they've trusted for a lifetime. Warren Buffett once said, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." And right now, the biggest risk retirees face is assuming the old way of doing things will still work. It won't. If you've been hesitant to create your online account or get familiar with digital tools, now is the time. If you're already set up, help someone who isn't. The future of retirement benefits is online, and whether that future works for you will depend on the steps you take today. Because the truth is, this isn't just about Social Security. This is about how you'll access every part of your retirement in the years to come. And if you're not ready for that shift, you're not truly ready for retirement. This is just the beginning. More rule changes are coming, and most people won't find out until it's too late. If you want to stay one step ahead and protect what you've worked your whole life for, subscribe now. The next update could impact your benefits, and if you're not ready, you could lose money you'll never get back.